Welcome to another episode of Market Talk with Broadwater-Toole Realty. I am so excited to get this back going because I have with me someone very special to my heart, Cherell Butler. Did I pronounce your name? I always get your name wrong for some reason.
It is Cherell Butler.
Cherell Butler. And today we want to talk about mental health in our community. As you know, Market Talk is not just about real estate. Market Talk or real estate impacts everything around us, everything in our community. So when I'm selling a house, I'm not just looking at selling that one house. I am looking at what the school system is, what the healthcare is in our community, what activities we have. So that's why Market Talk is so broad. So without further ado, welcome, Cherell. Welcome to Market Talk.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm glad to have you. And we can just go ahead and jump into the questions.
Okay.
Because I know you've traveled extensively advocating for mental health in our community. How did you get started with complete care counseling?
How I actually got started. Can I go back and say how I got started in the field?
Yes.
My background is actually legal. So I was in the legal system after I graduated from undergrad.
Mm-hmm.
I was a probation officer. And at that time, I noticed there is a pattern for all of my clients.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of them were under the influence of alcohol or drugs when they were arrested.
Wow.
And a large percentage had not completed high school. They had not obtained a high school diploma or a GED. And my concern was I wanted to get to the root of the problem, like what is the issue? Because I kept dealing with people that had been arrested on charges which we would say would be considered criminal activity, criminal behavior.
Right.
And I felt there was something missing. So that is what pursued me to go back to school to get my master's degree in a concentration of criminal justice with the focus on individual, family, and group counseling. So that's how I started. And I did my internship in an outpatient drug and alcohol facility. And because of that, I wanted to work with the families, to learn more about the dynamics and how did this issue of substance abuse got started. And that is what really pursued me to be a therapist. So I was always licensed. I did finish grad school. I was licensed, and I obtained my license in 1987. And so my background actually started out in drug and alcohol.
Wow.
That was truly my love. Substance use disorders, substance abuse, and I was in the field. I'm still in the field, so I do contract work at Aiken Center. And that is where I didn't want to lose my license, because what happened was I continued working in other positions, working with women and children, the school district, retired from the school district. I was getting ready to retire, and I was asked by a colleague, would you be interested in joining our practice? And I said, no, I'm not interested in joining your practice. I'm getting ready to retire. I want to spend time with my mother. My mother had relocated here. She had had a stroke, and I was her caregiver for a while. And I really want to have more time for family and then future grandchildren.
Right.
And she kept saying, just come over and join us. So, and at that time, it was another agency. And at that point, I did go to the agency. And I said, I only want to work 2 days out the week. That's how it started. What happened was I did not know there were some other dynamics. And after being there for about 8 months, they approached me, the owner, and asked me, would I be willing to take over the practice?
Wow.
And I am not proud of the fact that when he asked me, I just looked at him and I just laughed. I said, who, me? I am not interested in being a business owner. And why would you pick me? And he said, because of my credentials, because of my experience. My daughter also has the same degree that I have.
Wow.
And he felt that we would be a great team together. And so finally, it was a blessing. It was a miracle, because every door that opened up at the bank, it wouldn't work. He sent me to his bank, a small community bank, amazing vice president of that bank. Doors just open up step by step. So that's how I got into the business. But I had to rebrand, had to rename. That was a process because we want to have a good image in the community. And so there was a lot of work with rebranding and renaming. So that is how I actually got in the field due to the love of helping to serve people and instilling hope and faith. Because you have a mental health challenge, you still can be successful.
You know, that's a brave pivot because we have one idea of what's good for us. And then if you trust in God, you don't know if that's where you'll be. So he pivoted you around to something, to a business owner. Now you market.
Yes. I had no desire to be a business owner.
Wow.
And looking at how it was going to work, it seemed impossible. Right. There was no way. And my husband said to me, if this is God's will, it is going to fall into place. And it fell into place.
Yes. I have my own story there.
Without the $100,000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have my own story. This is not what I expected. Me sitting here now is not what I envisioned. It is not. But I want to stay on you because you've seen a lot now. You've seen a lot about the mental health of our community. Where do you think South Carolina stands in mental health advocacy? Is it strong? Is it a strong position?
I believe now, and I will also say COVID had a lot to play with it. When COVID occurred, I think it became more of a reality to people and to our community, helping us to realize that mental illness is real. Right. It is reality. We all experience mental illness, every single one of us. But when COVID hit, which would be a situational, which caused a lot of people to experience situational depression and anxiety because their lives changed. Lives changed with either health issues from COVID, schools changing because we could not go to the school setting, job settings changing. Yes. There was an increase of death from COVID. So the reality, I think our community is more open, more receptive, working together to be advocates for mental health awareness. Yes. So I have seen a change. So I believe that our community and the different organizations and businesses are working together to help people to seek the services that they need. Yeah.
When I was conducting some research on you, something that shocked me, what I found was your favorite movie is Hidden Figures. And that's parallel to what you see because we all walk around and we may look fine, but it's what's hidden underneath and what we're carrying around.
Yes.
And that's what you're seeing in your practice.
Yes.
Is that it's not one of us not impacted by mental health.
Not one. Because if we're real about it, and how I start off when I do workshops and trainings to help people to understand mental health is real. Think about your own life, okay? Think about if you have a major illness, a major setback, an accident, aging, loneliness, people that experience dementia and Alzheimer's. Think about when you have grief in your family, unemployment, separation, divorce. These are life situations that cause people to go through changes. And when you go through a change in your life, which is an adjustment reaction, and I'm going to use, that's a therapeutic term, an adjustment reaction or adjustment disorder, which is basically stress. So when we're under a lot of stress, mentally, we're not healthy. Mentally, we don't have a balance. So we get out of balance spiritually, physically, and mentally. So we all experience mental health challenges, even the birth of a new baby. Yeah. That's a change. We see a lot of postpartum depression after women have babies. So think about all the changes that we go through in life that we don't recognize. That is our mental health.
Yeah. It made me just think about something. We have a lot of people moving into our community, and moving is stressful.
Moving is stressful, and moving is one of the other reasons why people experience loneliness and experience depression. trying to get adjusted to the community, trying to know the area, getting to make new acquaintances or friends. And I can speak for my own self. When I relocated many years ago, almost 40 years ago, the hardest day for me was Sunday. I miss my church family. I miss my family. I miss going to the house to have dinner after church. And so people get depressed when they're lonely.
Wow. So is the mental health issues that you see in your practice now, are they some of the same issues you saw when you were working?
Yes. The majority of the mental health issues that I focus on and my office focus on are the top two, depression and anxiety. Those are the two top. And of course, adjustment disorder, adjustment reaction, and stress. So, and also my specialty is grief. That was not planned. Here we go again.
Right.
How it was just orchestrated that I specialize in grief during COVID. So a lot of grief. So what we see is just not grieving the loss of a loved one, but grieving the loss of your life changing, an illness, the death, a separation, a divorce, the moving. So depression and anxiety would be the top two.
Yeah. What are some tips or some best practices people can utilize to better handle those life changes? Because all of us go through those.
The best practice, and because I am a therapist, I want to make sure whatever I share with my patients that I'm doing the same thing. Because I do not believe in being hypocritical. I believe that I cannot provide counseling services if I don't use some of the same practices. The biggest practices, and I cannot do this with everyone, but if people have faith and a spiritual connection, that will allow me to bring in spirituality, that will allow me to bring in faith into our counseling sessions, and that is one of the most powerful ones, because we know for a fact when people have the faith that they heal better. That's research proven, that they do heal better as far as health-wise, physically and mentally. Faith and a positive attitude, believing in a higher power. However, I know everybody's not there. So the basic ones is actually exercising, increasing your activity. Physical exercise produce endorphins in the brain to help regulate depression and anxiety and stress and any other mental health challenge. Sleep. Making sure we get enough sleep. If we do not get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep, we're more irritable, we're more anxious, we're tired, we're restless. Also symptoms of anxiety. It increases anxiety. It can make depression worse, stress, and grieving as well. So we're talking about the things as simple as sleep, healthy meals, eating, socializing, not isolating, be around people. For some people, we have to say they love pets. Pets are excellent for people because you can rub them, you can pet them, you can touch them. Nature, spending time in the sun, listening to the birds, the bees, fishing, water. Water is a natural relaxer. Warm water, or on the lake, on the ocean, on the pond, just watching the water is calming, is soothing, is tranquil. I use aromatherapy in practice. So with aromatherapy, I use vanilla, I use lavender. Those are natural fragrances to help us to calm down, to ease us. Breathing techniques, simple breathing techniques, simple as counting to 10, slowing down. So there's just some simple things, that listening to music, having a hobby, art. We use a lot of journaling. A lot of people journal, grateful journals, daily grateful journals. And so yesterday I was in a session and a lady said, why can't I afford? I said, you can afford these simple things. And most of the things I just named are not expensive.
Some don't cost anything.
Don't cost
exercising,
anything.
you can just walk.
Right.
You can just walk.
Right. So those are just some of the techniques that we recommend that people use. And I think for me, what is very important to me when I work with my patients, a lot of people don't know exactly the signs and symptoms. So it's so important to me that I use psychoeducation. Let me increase your awareness. can you recognize the signs and symptoms of anxiety, depression, adjustment disorder, stress, yes, schizophrenia, bipolar? And it's interesting, when a lot of patients come in, they don't know for sure their diagnosis. So it's so important that you get an understanding and increase your awareness about the symptoms that you have. So how can you help people if they don't know, understand, and recognize all of the symptoms that they may experience with these diagnoses?
Do you find that a lot of your patients don't recognize those symptoms in themselves?
What I find out is once we go over them, they'll identify with those symptoms.
Oh.
And a lot of people know something is wrong, but they really don't know the correct term.
Okay.
I know something is wrong, I just can't put my hand on it. I just can't figure it out.
Do you feel social media has an impact in mental health?
Definitely. I'm gonna shift that a little bit, because what we're seeing with a lot of younger people, adolescents, we're seeing increase of course, depression, anxiety, self-harm, suicidal ideation, which is, we believe, is related to a lot of the social media. So social media can play a not so healthy part, but also a healthy part in increasing their awareness and advocating and educating people.
Are you seeing a lot more? Because I was, of course, on TikTok, and I saw now that they're creating software or apps for mental health. Do you feel those apps help?
I am going to say one thing about the apps, and what I've learned is I've had to learn that people have to use what's going to help them to decrease the frequency and duration of their symptoms. So I do recommend, and I do use it when I'm doing a breathing technique. I do use the apps with the patients, have them go to the apps, and we'll do it in a session to show them how to use it, to listen to the music, the noise, which is like the noise machine or the water or whatever, to help calm them down, to decrease the stress or the anxiety. Yes, they can be beneficial. The most important thing, what works for me may not work for my patient. So I recommend that people find out what works best for them. The biggest struggle, I think, in a lot of our community, people don't want to take medication. And at times, some people may need medication to get the edge off, to help regulate the depression and to help them to sleep when they're grieving. It doesn't have to be long term, but let's just start sometime with the medication if none of the techniques are not working. Also, people have to realize when they come in, I'm just a tool. I'm just your instrument.
Yes.
I can't do the work. You have to implement it and apply the work in order to see results.
Yes. Are you seeing a difference when it's related to the underserved areas versus areas that's more served with? So, and I'll just give an example. The South Side, we have about 6 or 7 community health medical facilities that they can go to get assistance. But the further you go out, you don't see any. Is there a difference that you see from the underserved areas?
Yes, correct. Especially if you live in the rural areas. We do not have the services. You will not probably find a private practice. So there is truth to that. The bottom line is what we actually see with the population is a lot of times lack of funding, lack of transportation. A lot of people feel that they can't afford counseling because it is quite expensive. So in those areas, the best thing that could have ever happened was telehealth.
Good.
COVID is what helped us to navigate that, to start using telehealth in our field, because it does touch the rural area if people cannot get to the area and have lack of transportation. But when it first started, though, we found out people may not have had access to the technology. And so now most people have access to a cell phone. And we can implement those services to cell phone. But we have to acknowledge that there are barriers to treatment. Number one, transportation. Number two, finances. And I want to be very careful. I'm going to make this, I'm going to try to make this politically correct. The other concern is our community, the African American community.
Yes.
Because of the negative image that people have, the stigma that is attached to mental health.
Yes.
So I am going to say we also have to recognize Medicaid. So every agency doesn't accept Medicaid.
Right.
Our agency does accept Medicaid. And Medicaid deals with Absolute, Molina, Healthy Connections, Select Health. So we see a lot of people that have Medicaid. So Medicaid is one way for people to receive services. Also remember the state agencies, like the state and federal agencies, the Clyburn Center, Aiken Borough Mental Health. There are agencies that can help serve people in our community who may not have the resources.
So you said something that I will say in my family, we never saw. So you're right about that. As I was growing up, we never went to the doctor for our mental health. We went for a toothache. We went for a checkup, for a physical, but never to check, am I okay mentally? And I think that stigma, especially, and I'm just throwing this out there because I read it yesterday, that men still have a stigma about mental health and getting that type of assistance.
Men still have that, they still see that it's not beneficial for them. However, I would like to believe we are increasing awareness, the mental health awareness. I do a lot of workshops. I do a lot of advocating, working with the NASW, the National Association of Social Workers, which is a national level, serving on the board on the state level. South Carolina gives us the opportunity to meet with legislators. We have to advocate on a local level. We have to advocate on a state level and a national level. So those opportunities are being presented, and what we need to do is be aware, recognize signs and symptoms, increase our awareness, be attentive to people, to listen to people. So I think we are making sure policies advocate for mental health as well. And also a lot of agencies and businesses have EAPs, employee assistance programs. So they don't have to pay for those first several, 5, 6, 7, or 8 services. And I know personally what we do in our business, I have provide services for free for people if they cannot afford the services, as well as put them on a sliding scale. If they cannot afford the services. I would like to touch on what you just said, our community. We are doing a better job now with educating our community and trying to break that negative image of mental health. I see more of the community, such as the churches, and also the Greeks and the sororities, fraternities, organizations, increasing the awareness. I believe what happened when COVID hit, that was starting the beginning, and during that time, I did more workshops with fraternities, sororities, the Greek organizations, and in the churches. So I'm grateful for the ministers, the pastors that are taking advantage of these opportunities to educate their parishioners. Also, there are churches that have therapists available. And also there are churches, like, I won't mention names, but there are churches that actually, we actually do health fairs for them. And if they have parishioners that need services, they will pay for those services for their parishioners.
That's good.
So those opportunities are there. The other concern I have is because we have not sought counseling is because of the stigma. It is because of the negativity. Men have thought that they had to be strong, that they can't express their feelings, they can't talk about their feelings because how they were brought up. And also how we were brought up. Okay? And so that was something that was a taboo.
Because we had roles. And we were taught those roles. We were taught, women, you're here. Men, you're here. And my dad he's that standard. If he see me about to change a tire on the car, oh no. That's his job.
That's his job. And also I want to give our doctors credit. The medical field now is basically asking patients when they come in, I went to an appointment a week before last, and I was so glad to see, are you restless? Are you able to sleep? Are you anxious? Are you experiencing depression? What about your drinking and alcohol use? And at one point, doctors wouldn't really ask those questions.
That's right.
So I think our community has come a long way.
Yes.
As far, even our school systems. The teachers are recognizing signs and symptoms.
That's
the
right.
administrators, the guidance counselors. We have counselors in the schools now.
Right.
Based on grants. So there are opportunities that are available to help serve people.
Yeah. And one thing that they started doing is recognizing the food we eat. And they're really pressuring because they see that that's causing mental health. Some of the pesticides that's used on the food.
Yes.
And it causes medical issues within our bodies.
And sugar with ADHD.
Yeah. You've talked about, I was looking down my list. I said, oh man, we done hit on all of this. But let me see. You already talked about communities working together to support mental well-being. Well, what's one thing every community leader should know about mental health?
It can happen to them. It can happen to anyone. It is real.
Yeah. You know, I have this picture of Charlemagne, who's on the Breakfast Club, sitting at his desk, and when he feels like negative energy comes in, he grabs his sage and he says, I have to protect my mental health.
You do.
And I think that should be all of us.
You do.
And I tell my sister, I don't recall a time where I feel like I've been depressed. I look back because me and my siblings, we talk about it. Me and my kids, we talk about it. Even when I was going through financial issues, relationship issues, I don't remember a time that I was depressed. And I love my alone time, but I love my time with my family. And I realize that it's just how I handle stress that comes into my life.
Also, though, when you think about it, there are so many other things that you do to help you to be mentally healthy. Think about what you do. I know about your relationship with God. I know about your faith. I know about how important your family is to you. I know about how important it's being physically active. So look at the things that you're already doing. I know how important it is for you to eat healthy. So look at the things that you're doing to help you to take care of yourself mentally.
See, I never thought about it that way.
And you socialize, even though you like that quiet time. That is something that I'm really working on with a lot of women to understand the importance we need to have quiet time because we're so busy taking care of everybody else. We don't do a good job of taking care of ourselves. And as you heard me say at the last event I spoke at, self-care is not the manicures and getting your hair done, going to the beauty salon. Self-care is spending quiet time with you to meditate, to be alone, to savor the quietness, to be able to either journal, to do artwork, to read, to just savor the bed early in the morning, drink a nice cup of herbal tea, unplug. And so a lot of anxiety and stress is coming from TV, electronic devices, laptops, computers, and cell phones.
I am at the point where I can meditate now for 20 minutes.
Wonderful, good.
I started at 5.
That's how we recommend people start off, just 5 minutes. Good.
And I do, and it does help, and it makes my future clear where I'm going.
So you have more clarity. So you see the benefits of having quiet time for clarity. And look at our society that we live in now. A lot of it is fast paced. Everybody's rushing. Look at even how I struggle when I worked in the school district. I mean, a lot of children don't have breakfast in the morning. They have like fast food, or they have the sweet cereal. And I think about, we don't even spend time eating dinner together anymore because everybody's rushing. I was not going there, but I'm going to go there. Even look at the sporting events. Held on a Wednesday evening. Practice held on a Wednesday evening. a lot of times Bible studies are in session.
Right.
Look at sporting events that's held on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
We're missing church, the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't
We
supposed
are.
to. So
No,
think
you can go
about
where
the
you want to go.
things that we're not doing anymore, and we can't figure out
Right.
what's happening in our society.
Right. And when I was younger, my grandfather had me in church or something related to church 7 days a week.
Yes, that's correct.
We made time.
You made time. And we make time for what is important
to
what's
us.
a priority.
What's
So a lot of people say they want help, but they don't make themselves a priority to take care of themselves.
They don't change their behavior.
Right. You have to be intentional. You have to be intentional, and we have a choice every day.
Yes.
I would like to say, though, I have to be mindful, of course, when we're dealing with like mood disorders, schizophrenia, bipolar, and major depressive disorder, we know people will need, we cannot regulate that just with you need the medication, but you need to be able to implement all the tools.
Yes.
So I recommend when I work with patients, the importance of medication management, keeping up with their medical appointments, and developing a toolbox to help them to be successful. Because that's the goal, to help them to be successful in life.
Yes. Oh, I don't know how you can sum that up, how we can come back behind that, but what's the most rewarding part of your job? Because I know your exit plan. I know your exit plan. So you're going to leave a lot. It will be a huge gap to be filled when you exit this arena. What's the most rewarding part of your job?
And I'm going to get emotional. The most rewarding is to see when the light bulb goes off and people can identify their symptoms and recognize what is going on in their life and implementing the tools to help them to manage life. Seeing the mental health challenges decreasing in frequency and duration and knowing that they can be okay. And there is one particular person, when I first started at this agency, before I became an owner, one young person had the diagnosis of schizophrenia. And I was like, by myself in the office and way in the back. And I'm like, Lord, what are you doing? How am I going to help this person? What am I supposed to do? The individual didn't know me. I didn't know them. He said to me, I want to learn how to socialize. It's been 8 years. When I look at the progress, I am so proud to say that a lot of my patients with bipolar and schizophrenia are socializing, contributing in the community, volunteering in the community, working. When I see that they have their driver's license, being able to drive, to look at he or she has reached those goals, those are the most rewarding to me, because when I first met the individuals, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? How are we going to accomplish these goals? And it took time, but they are independent. Establishing independence has been the most rewarding to me. And also that's one of my concerns when I leave.
Yes.
Because to see that, and I don't like to see people having to go find a new psychiatrist or a new therapist, because sometimes it's a setback. And sometimes they don't go back. And I want to keep that momentum of them doing well and making progress. So that's the most rewarding.
You're definitely a treasure in our community.
Thank you.
You're definitely a treasure.
Thank you.
And I'll tell you, mental health is rampant now, but until my daughter told me she was having those issues, I never took them as serious as I do now.
I'm so glad you do.
And tiptoeing around, trying to help her, Yeah, I'm helpless in that. You know,
A lot of people don't know where to go.
right.
They don't even know what to expect, where to start. And as a parent, I always recommend just listen, be attentive,
Right.
offer support groups, you'll go with the person.
Yes.
So there are so many available resources out there that people really aren't aware of.
Yeah.
And I just want to say the most rewarding too is being obedient. Remember what I said?
Yes, I do.
This was not on my list.
That's right.
And I asked God to use me, and I wanted to be a servant.
That's right.
It has been the most rewarding to be able to serve people who need the services.
Right.
I didn't know about the challenges though until I got into the field.
That's right.
I didn't know about the challenges of sacrificing yourself, your finances. That was the challenge for me. So,
but because you have taken that on, you probably open up a lot of doors for other people to walk through without some of that red tape or those barriers.
Yes.
And I think that's what we all leave with.
Yes.
We will all leave with leaving it better than when I came.
Yes.
I truly appreciate you for agreeing to talk to me today. I would like for you to tell everybody how to reach your company. You know, if they need assistance, where to go, what's your company name, what's your address, what's your phone number, how can they get the help or reach out to you for help?
Yes, the name of our company is Complete Care Counseling, and you will have to know the story behind that, the 3 C's for the Trinity. Complete Care Counseling, located at 410 University Parkway, Suite 210, Aiken, South Carolina 29801. We are on the website. You can always go to our website, www.Complete Care Counseling Group, and get the information there, as well as calling our number at 803-226-0745. 803-226-0745. We have 13 providers, and we all have our different specialties.
Good.
Okay? And you will probably speak to Nikki when you answer the phone, and she will be more than glad to take care of you, and then she'll refer it to me, and we both will take care of the person that may call.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
This concludes this episode of Market Talk with Broadwater-Toole Realty. I cannot even express on you the importance if you don't feel like you're going through a mental health crisis, but you notice it in someone else. You know, knowing how to get the assistance you need and where to go, who to call is very important. I truly appreciate you, and we look forward to you viewing the next episode of Market Talk with Broadwater-Toole Realty. Thank you.
Thank you.